I'm Adri Smith. I'm the senior content marketing lead here at Recoded. So that means that a lot of the, my job is to create content around a lot of the programs and boot camps that we offer. And of course, you guys have just written this Intro to Freelancing course. And so what we would really like to do is create some content around it in order to get people interested in joining and in applying. So I'm really curious to know a little bit about you guys, your backgrounds, and also like why freelancing. So I have a couple of questions for you all, and I'd love to get your thoughts on those, but maybe let's just start with the introductions. So I'm not sure who wants to go first.
Thank you so much, Adri, and it's really amazing meeting you. Thank you so much for being flexible. I know we were trying to make this so many times. Yeah, my name is Zahra Al-Helfi. I am from Basra, Iraq. I write down in the chat as well. And I started out as an IT grad. I was really into technology, and during that journey, I became an alumni of an exchange program. And that was sort of the start of my passion towards empowering youth and just youth development in general, both educationally and professionally. And I started freelancing when I was in college. It was sort of my way of trying to gain experience while also being in an environment that didn't allow me to like learn much. So right now I work as a trainer or a tutor for an NGO here in Basra. And yeah, that's mostly what I do.
Okay, great. Mumtadar?
Yeah, thank you so much, Zahra. Thank you so much, and I'm happy that you're pronouncing my name correctly. Like, I suffer a lot with this. People will never get it, so it just makes me feel good.
Good.
So my name is Muntadar, and I am a communication engineering graduate. I mainly interest, like, after graduation, like I was more interested in the programming area. And that's where I started to kind of freelance my skills, because it turned out that I know a lot of stuff, but in different areas. Like, oh, there's a good approach that I can use them all and try to, as Zahra said, get experience for it. Also, luckily, me and Zahra, we've been in the same program. It's an exchange program in the US, and after the program, I started working with them as a program assistant. And that was out of my interest out of my understanding of the youth need, and out of my interest in empowering and trying to like find a creative way that could, let's say, adjust with the modern technology development and that side. So I guess that's pretty much it.
So I'm curious, you guys both have mentioned that, yeah, you kind of fell into freelancing mostly, yeah, when you were in college or shortly thereafter. Yeah, what was that experience like? And what do you wish you knew before doing it?
I would say everything about this course right now is things that I wish I knew. And I think that was kind of a driving factor for participating in it. But for me, when I started out, I was sort of really interested in like technology, but I felt so lost because my field was IT, but it's such a big field, right? Because you can do so many different things. And in college, they just give you like you're on step one and you decide where to go. And so I felt like I really wanted to gain the knowledge that was available online, but I also, I didn't have a lot of experience, and being first of all, a lot of internships and everything like that doesn't really exist in my area. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have that opportunity, and also having a part-time as a student was very difficult, especially as a woman in my region. So I realized, okay, I either have to settle for not having experience and graduating like with zero experience, or I have to start looking online and trying my luck at what I can find. And so that was like the route that I took.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious, sorry, just to follow up on one thing you said as a woman in your region, it's kind of difficult to work like on a side job in university. Can you just elaborate? Mm-hmm. Like I want to understand a little bit more what that's like.
Sure. I think there are plenty of opportunities for women, but it's, mm-hmm. and I think work opportunities in general in Iraq are for people who have, like, the more degrees that you have, like if you have a bachelor degree, you're way more likely to get hired. I think that's sort of a universal thing. But before college, a lot of either the manual labor that doesn't require a degree is like for sure for men in the region. And also if you want to get hired, like working in the field as an IT, and I'm mostly speaking from my university and the other women that I've seen who are attending university in my region. I would see a lot of the guys being able to, like, either through connections find a job or something like that. But it's just the kind of community that we live in, where it's like it's a lot less difficult to get that kind of opportunity. And the people who did get it, the women who did get it, like they had to be like top of the class, knew somebody to get a job. And when I was second year at college, I obviously didn't know a lot of people, so I was just like, okay, I guess I have to find things online. So that was kind of my experience.
Okay, no, that helps me understand a little bit better. And Muntajar, can you tell me a little bit about your experience going into freelancing, how you got in and what you wish you knew?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I'm really happy that we kicked off with that question, because first I like my experience was more of tech, because I felt that I know a lot of stuff, and at the same time I wasn't able to get a job because they required years of experience, and it requires a CV, and it requires a lot of stuff that I as a fresh student I couldn't have. So freelancing was the space for me to, like, hey, I can do stuff, I can just like conduct stuff that doesn't require that specific standard. So I started working as data analyst, because I have a very good understanding of SQL and like Microsoft let's say programs, and things were getting really easy, because it feels that as long as you know this, like without any like let's say a previous experience, they're more of care oriented about as long as you know this, we can collaborate and start working. And something that I wish to know before I just got into freelancing, I would say that I was very overwhelmed with the idea that I have to be perfect, I have to be really, really good at that thing in order to get into that area. But turned out that, like, in the freelancing there are different I would say layer of proficiency that is seeking for. So like I wouldn't say no matter how experienced you are, but I would say just like give it a try, and you'll find people who find whatever you're doing very, very useful and very beneficial for them. So that's the thing. If I knew it, things will get really, really, really less overwhelming.
Nice. Yeah. I think I've already reviewed, just kind of skimmed through the course, and it does cover, like, actually technically I'm a freelancer, though, like I'm working pretty much full time for Recoded, and I'm treated like an employee. So it's kind of like it's a gray area. But yeah, when I was thinking about going, like, yeah, even taking on more projects or something like this, I was like, well, I don't even know what to charge for things. I don't know even how I would manage. Well, truth is, I would not manage it because this is a full-time job. But even really considering stuff like that, it is overwhelming. So I think you guys really covered some of the basics. I'm curious, if you wanted to, like, if you wanted the students who go through this course to take away one thing, what do you think it would or should be?
There is no specific, let's say, level that you have to reach in order to work as a freelancer. You can start exactly now with what you have. Well, just you have to learn stuff from here and there, and you're ready to go. Like you're ready to go. Like as long as you have some soft skills that you can learn, some, like the ground, there's the ground. As long as they fulfill that the ground, they will be ready to find out, like, things that they can't provide for others, and things that they can learn along the way. It's very easy for them to just fulfill that the ground, let's say, skills that we mentioned in the course, and afterwards I believe that they can start, as long as they know how to do personal branding, because especially at this age they have a very different skills, but they didn't think those stuff could be needed, so just feel like they just hearing that their skills could really be a source of income for them, but they have to just work on this and that in a nutshell. So I believe that's something that they will take away from that course.
Following up on that, if someone like after this course feels the courage to put themselves out there, because a lot of the prompts that we have and the discussions that we have throughout the course is related to like sharing out or just trying to be part of a community. Because one of the biggest things I think that I personally faced was I felt like I couldn't put myself out there because everyone else is so amazing. So who am I to put myself out there? So I think that's the kind of thing that I really wish people would take, is that this courage to like, here are all the tools that you need and you're good to go. You're good to go from the minute. We kind of have that line and, you know, saying it in the course, because I think so many people out there have just what it takes to get started, but they just think that, oh, I'm not like at this level, like Muntalar mentioned. So even if they just like reach out to somebody to tell them about their skills and offer to work for them, or if they send like a couple of emails, or if they sign up to a website and they start like actually like trying to apply for jobs, I think to me that is like the biggest thing that I could that I wish they would take, and is like the first step.
Yeah, my last question for you guys is yeah, so of course there are a lot of materials out there, and I can imagine quite a lot of our students actually go through their learning experience before they even get to Recoded. They usually go online and they're looking for stuff, and they might pick up articles, they might do Coursera courses, yeah, they might even do a in-person course. For you guys, what's the difference between kind of going through that learning experience and going through Intro to Freelancing? Like, what do students get out of this that they might not be able to get out of, you know, searching the web or speaking with other freelancers, for example?
I can jump in if your ideas are ready, Zahra. Sure. Thank you so much. I would say that like the course that like the module that we wrote was less of factual information, more of personalized content. So we tried to not bring, like, we didn't Google how to get a job in the US, then applied it to the MENA region. It was more of out of our experience in the MENA region, given the factors that is happening, given the technology development. We just set the thing. So I feel it's more aligned with the community power, I would say, with the community needs and with the community's abilities. So they will not find stuff like, oh, this doesn't exist. Because for example, some of the websites that like freelancing websites, they doesn't exist, for example, in my country. So we tried to exclude those, let's say, even a platform or tools that are not either very beneficial or are not really usable in the region. So I feel that this course is more MENA region focused and personalized, and that's how I see it.
Yeah, very true. I think yeah, that's something that we're really trying to focus on as a whole as Recoded, because, and it is difficult. Like, I was even trying to come up with newsletter themes, and I was like, oh, you know, October, kind of like Halloween spooky, and I was like, actually, I'm not even sure if that's like big in the Middle East, actually. So I'm asking a few colleagues, but I think it is something that we have to check very often, because, and thankfully we also have, you know, a lot of people from the MENA region at Recoded, you guys know that. So I think that's really positive, but it's really important that I think it goes into our courses. So I'm really glad that you bring that up.
I was gonna say like the exact same thing, because I remember, because I used to do that, right? Like, I was looking stuff online and I was like, okay, what about this website? And then I would look it up, and then it's like, I've had so many screens where it's just server is not working in your country, and I'm like, cool, moving on. And then that takes so much of your time, especially when you're already like a student. Or sometimes I would look up a video and it explains like this payment method, for example, and it's like, this is not available in Iraq, let me move on. And or it just like doesn't make sense for the kind of target market that you have in your community, because you know, a lot of times we do this thing online. We want people to explore digital freelance, but it's also nice to have people around you who might be interested in what you do, or interested in acquiring some of your services. So if the community that is around you, like maybe the skills that you have just like don't interest your community, how do you deal with that? Or how do you deal with the there is like, we also feel, I think sometimes something that I personally felt a lot while studying in the field of technology, and I think maybe Muntader can relate to this as well, is that we had to catch up a lot to the rest of the world, and it's such a it can be a little bit exhausting, but when it comes from people who know this experience, who've been like through what you've been through, and who aren't already born with specific like knowledge, or just like, and who are also trying to learn this with you, it becomes a little bit different. I feel like it's coming from the heart in a way, because we had been through this not long ago, and we understand how it can be frustrating to like, and this is one of the aspects that we focus on that I feel is missing in a lot of courses, just focusing on the mental health aspect of what it's like to be a freelancer. I think that's such a big thing while working remotely, or just like being a freelancer, is that you're spending so much time alone. There's so much energy that you're spending, and you miss those interactions that you can have while you were in office or with your colleagues. And so we really try to shine a light on that kind of aspect, and how you can benefit from a community like the community that you can start with Recoded by participating, or the community of people who are in your region who might be interested in the course, or who might be interested in what you do. And I think that's something like, I know in conversations between me and Muntada, we were just like, we don't see this often. And I'm so happy, like when we were talking with Pavik, when we were talking to the other people at Recoded, they were so encouraging of having this aspect being mentioned in the course, because it is very important, and I wish it was talked about a lot more.
Yeah, it's something that I was really interested in, because yeah, I had worked at, so my background is in tech companies, like for-profit tech companies. And I live in Amsterdam, and everything went remote, and they kind of treated it like exactly the same work environment. And a lot of them like kind of, I don't know, like bandage things by like, they sent, you know, they did like the after work drinks, but online on Zoom. And it's like, that's overwhelming with, you know, like 100 people, like nobody actually gets to speak. Yeah, I know. And it's like, you don't have like the ping pong kind of like tech startup culture anymore. It's like, you're really just at home and you have a lot of work to do. And nobody was really properly addressing like mental health, like well. And then I come to Recoded, and I think like one of the first pages that I got was like a mental health page of like what you should do because you're working remotely, and you know how different people have different reactions and what you can do to kind of manage those. And I was like, oh my God, finally a company that kind of gets it. It's but of course we're all remote, and they've been remote, well, I guess also from the pandemic as well. So, but it just seems like they got kind of their act together a lot quicker than I think a lot of other companies do. But yeah, it's definitely also an issue for freelancers because they're also completely remote for the most part.
I was just going to add to what you mentioned. So part of how Muntalar and I were here is that we work for an NGO together, Word Learning, and it's like completely remote. And so when we were talking about the mental, I'm so glad that you mentioned your experience as well, because we were just thinking of like, we spend so much time on like our laptops and sitting together. So like online is so totally get how it can be super overwhelming. So thank you for mentioning that as well. Personally, you know, I'm totally fine with the, you know, whatever that you'd like to make. Also, I did marketing for 2 years. So when you mentioned like wanting to make stuff for the social media, I'm just like, girl, I get you.
Good.
You need to do so much. I totally feel for you. So yeah, please, I would be happy if you want to send them our way, but yeah, totally fine with them either way. So thank you so much for putting so much effort into it as well.
Great. Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. And yeah, I'm curious, how did Bhavik find you guys?
It's a very interesting story actually. It was 1 a.m. And it was before I sleep. It was just surfing LinkedIn before I sleep. So I was laughing. And then I found this. And I was like, that's very interesting. And I sent a message to Zahra. And Zahra, she wasn't awake. And then I called her and she was sleeping. Hey, there's a chance that we can apply for this. Let's just do it. Wake up now. I was very energetic. I was very energetic. I don't know. I just liked it. And I love Recoded because I have a lot of friends who worked it, who like took their courses. Like, it's a good fit. And then I would just go wash your face, just get energetic. Yeah, let's just do it. I was screaming to get her energy. And it took us 2 hours to just go through everything and send the email. And we sent email to them. Like, what was the email? Do you remember, Sahra? Like,
with the proposal, we sent a yeah, we sent a proposal of what we envisioned the course to be as, and it was like it was so many emotions all at once. And yes, it was at 1 a.m. So we were just like, I remember having so many ideas and like envisioning so many things that we wanted to do. And we were just like, this is an amazing idea. Let's write that down. And then we had a fully colorful Google Doc that we sent. And the minute we hit send, I was just like looking at one another like, this was fun. I don't think they're going to get back to us. Because I was like, is this really going to work? And I think we were so close to the deadline that I was like, great, going on with my life. So yeah, that was kind of
wow. So LinkedIn really really connected you guys. That's awesome. Because like I was thinking, I was like, yeah, how do you find, like sometimes it's kind of hard to find the right like I guess like amount of MENA expertise, but then also the right amount like of technical expertise that you need for a certain project, and then language as well. Language is also, you might find somebody who's an expert and also technical expert, but then yeah, their English might not be as great as you need it to be. But that's another question for another day. But that's really awesome. I'm really glad that he found you guys. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, I hope you have a really lovely day.